Very good evening to all our viewers. My name is Manobina Chakraborty, founder I for Inclusion. I welcome all of you to the 14th episode of Let's Talk Inclusion. And I'm honored to be able to introduce you to our eminent guests today. They are Mrs. Kavita Sharma, an eminent educator and activist advocate for persons with special needs for more than 2.5 decades. She's one of the founding members of the Autism Society of India and the founder director of Project PRAYAS, a computer and iPad training center for individuals with autism spectrum disorders. Hello, Kavita ji. Welcome to Let's Talk Inclusion.
Hello, Manobina. Nice to be here.
Now on to my dear colleague, Mrs. Anjali Pillai, an autism advocate and coordinator of Saaransh Foundation in Gujarat, India. Good evening, Anjali. Welcome to Let's Talk Inclusion.
Good evening, Manobina. Good evening, Kavita. It's nice to be here today.
Thank you. Anjali, could you mute yourself, please? There's a feedback. Yeah. Thank you. So our topic of discussion today is inclusive education in India, theory and practicalities in light of the new National Education Policy, NEP. But before we start our discussion formally, Kavita ji, could you please tell our viewers a little more about your life and work, especially PRAYAS? And it will also be very interesting to know how you started your journey to advocate for inclusive education in India.
Right. Thank you, Manobina. I would have been a chemist if I was not a special educator, but this was my two sons. They brought me in this particular field, both on the different side of the spectrum of autism. And because of them, I came into the field of autism. I did a diploma after my MSc and B.Ed in mental retardation. Those days, in the year 1992 and 3, it was that was the only course available, and I did it from Mumbai, Dilkush Special School. With that, I came into the field, and I continuously worked as a pro bono professional, except for one of the assignments for Foundation for Prevention of Disability, where I was paid part-time. So this is how I have been in the field. I have really enjoyed working because after the the training which I received, I felt very much empowered. I felt that I know my children now, and I could do very well with them. Though with the elder one, who is no more, I could not do much. He was on the severe side of the spectrum. The other one, who I could see having difficulties at the age of 1 month, I began my work then itself. And now he is a trained graphic designer. He's doing reasonably fine. We did have a lot of issues with respect to the education, whether the mainstream, going out of the mainstream, going back to the mainstream, and in between trying the remedial, then open schooling, etc. But then, yes, final thing, which came out as that he's completed his 12th, and he's trained himself through NSDC, and he's a graphic designer. And during this process of my learning, I finally have reached to autism. And autism, when I say final, my last work, which was completely related to autism, was developing an open educational resource, which is now freely available at www.techedforautism.com for the entire world. And I'm proud of it because I have made it completely free, accessible, and affordable and adaptable. And I continue to do that. Now, coming to the point of inclusion, how this thought has come into my mind is because we have faced, as the end user, that what has gone wrong in between, where I had to pull Ujjwal out from the mainstream, and what were the reasons? What is it that we could not do? What is it that system requires? So all those points, when I put it in the picture, there are so many things that we can do to enable inclusion in a proper way, and it will make life of many of the individuals with disabilities, you know, um, a good life. I'm sure Anjali will agree with me on this point. So this is how I have come into the field of disability and focusing on these aspects, and finally has become an activist, though I do work on the ground also and work with children on technology based intervention. So that's me. Thank you.
It's really very informative for us, Kavita ji. Thank you very much for sharing.
Thank
Anjali,
you.
our viewers would like to know about your life and work as well. So could you please?
Yes, of course, Manobina. Uh, uh, I'm a mother of a 24-year-old boy who is blessed with Asperger's syndrome, a form of autism. I'm working as a coordinator in Saaransh Foundation. It's a special school in Gandhinagar in Gujarat. Working with neurodivergent children is my passion, and it gives me immense pleasure when I'm among these wonderful children and young people. I've always tried to discover their niche areas in order to enable them to become independent in various ways. Me and my husband are associated with this cause for nearly 2 decades now. It all started 2 decades ago when we came to know that our son is blessed with Asperger's. Our situation was very challenging as very few people around us were aware of autism spectrum disorder. There was some awareness about dyslexia, learning difficulty, or ADHD, but minimal awareness about autism spectrum disorder. Finding special educator or behavior therapist for him was a big challenge, and I had to be with him continuously for his academic needs and for behavior modification. For that, I had to do a lot of research on net by visiting cyber cafes, as barely anyone had internet at home at that time. This helped me to educate myself. Me and my husband both are friends of several families blessed with neurodivergent children. We try to help them by sharing our knowledge and telling them about our experiential journey. Yes, ma'am.
I need to unmute myself first. I just forgot. Anyway, thank you very much. Thanks very much, Anjali. I'm sure today's discussion will unfold a few more chapters of your life and career. You were talking about your son. He's 24 now, is he?
Yes, ma'am.
Uh, how supportive did you find the school system when your child was of school going age?
Yeah, it was a very difficult period. We had to change his school quite often, as educators would often complain about his academic performance. We enrolled him in an elite school, which was so-called inclusive, but there too, facilities for special education was not available. He was being just promoted every year so that he could be with his peers and learn socialization. But this did more harm to him than good, as his self-esteem became very low.
Did you homeschool your child afterwards?
Yes, Manobina. When we found that academic gap between him and his peers widened over a period of time, we then decided to pull him out from mainstream school and enroll him for NIS, that is National Institute of Open Schooling. He completed his remaining schooling successfully at his own pace. What I feel, if only his school had provided us support at that time, he could have completed his schooling from mainstream school if special education was available there.
Okay. And as far as I remember, there is a feedback again. Anjali, could you mute yourself, please? Your son Mihir completed his postgraduate degree course very successfully and has recently started working. Were his college and university authorities aware of his neurological condition?
Uh, no, Manobina, we had to consider the fact that as we were worried, they will refuse to give him admission. He successfully graduated in business administration and then acquired postgraduate degree in developmental studies from AICT approved institute. It's government recognized, but still we did not disclose it as he doesn't have his civil disability certificate. He was denied for getting the civil disability certificate earlier, and it's a long story.
Okay. I can understand very well, Anjali. Thank you very much for sharing. Kavita ji, after getting to know about Anjali's struggle as a mother, I really want to mention here for how our viewers what the RPWD Act 2016 says. It says that the appropriate government shall ensure that the PWD, that is persons with disability, enjoy the right to equality, life with dignity, and respect for his or her own integrity equally with others. Do you think, Kavita ji, the RPWD Act of 2016 is being effectively implemented in India?
Thanks for asking this question, Manobina. Um, the act is there. It has been already 5 years now. Um, in 2017, we were all asked, I am talking about the states, different states were asked to create their own rules to implement the act. Very few states have done it, and each state has done it differently. So what is happening is that in some places it is being implemented reasonably fine, but when it comes to the education part of it, where we are talking about including all the disabilities, that is still a question mark in most of the states. So I have been saying it through and through many times on the Facebook itself that somewhere the health and the education should be the responsibility of the center. You do the monitoring. When you are making the policies, you are making the acts, you should make the rules to implement, and rules should be similar for all the states of India. Say, for example, if I have to travel from Madhya Pradesh to Karnataka again or to any other state, I should not have any problems in having my child admitted anywhere, whether it is higher education or it is any level of education. And even the other things which are there in the act, whether it is employment or there are so many things which you mentioned already, the rights of a person with disability, everything should be exercised by the individual with disability in equality and equity. It has not been done so far. So my request through this program will be again that if we can do it, or whichever state has done the best job, you take it from them. Why reinvent the wheels? Because each person with disability requires, they have specific needs, and they need those needs need to be fulfilled. So this is my take on RPWD Act of 2016. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Kavita ji, please correct me if I'm wrong. Inclusive education is not an indigenous concept in India. The concept was borrowed from recognized international settings, mainly through international intergovernmental organizations like UNESCO, World Bank, etc. And the initial underpinning of inclusive education was limited to special education or inclusion of children with disability, which has been some expansion in the past few years. India, however, still lacks a well recognized working definition of inclusive education. What can be the reason behind it, Kavita ji?
Uh, well, before inclusive education, we have to go to the education part of it, where we have, we have three bases, the main pillars of education. One is the philosophical, another one is social, and then we have the psychological basis. So the philosophical one tells us that uh, we have to have education for all. The psychological one tells you that it should be child centered, and the third one, which is social, it basically it tells you that inclusion should happen through self reliance. That is how you are included in the society. So these are the three bases for education in general. If we keep those in mind, we have to work on it. On a serious note, uh, I don't think it has been done so far. There are a number of reasons. In fact, yesterday only I was attending one webinar. It was organized by CRC Lucknow. It was a beautiful webinar. A lot of good points were there, and I was happy to hear the entire thing. The only thing is that number of participants were very few there. Wonder why, whether they are interested in inclusive education or not. All the points were given there. The only thing is these points are discussed in theory, but in practice it is not happening. So my take is like this, that we should have across India, perhaps in not only in all the districts to begin with, but at least in one city, one school, if we can have that school developed as a model school for inclusion, where we can have all the disabilities included, and we work on it, where we have proper infrastructure, uh, proper human resources, assistive technologies, and we are talking about the universal design of learning. So apply all those principles, and then we go ahead and see for ourselves that what does it take for a disabled person to be included and progress. And it requires lot of effort. It requires lot of effort. So we should create some model schools, I would say, and then we can replicate the entire thing across India. Right.
And what role might Rehabilitation Council of India play in this?
Okay, now I was just going through the NEP also, one beautiful document I have, and it is very comprehensive. And somewhere it is talking about that when we are enabling the inclusive education, education of the disabled children, we have to work along with the RCI, NCTE, etc. It is written there. It's only written there. Now, how we will work has to be seen. So, according to me, RCI is doing a lot of things, but and it should be a respectable body. But in last couple of years, whatever has been seen, that I see that a lot of not so good things are happening, which involves wrong certification, etc. Even the courses are the content is not correct, etc. A lot of things are happening. So when I'm saying all this, I'm just disclaiming one thing, that through my take, nobody should get hurt. One has to accept the mistakes and correct it and go ahead. So ideally, when I come back to the inclusion part of it, RCI should have different courses which enable the professionals developed to enable the inclusion. And this inclusion should be there at different levels, what NEP is saying. They have different levels now, foundational course and then foundational level, and so many different things are there. The entire process is different now. So not only at the foundational level, we have to go to the middle level, secondary, and so on. So even these special educators which are being trained under RCI programs, they should be ready to take these individuals ahead. So here comes the subject specific knowledge also. And that is also mentioned in IEP somewhere, NEP somewhere. So we have to really work hard on those things. So it is not only RCI, the other institutes also, which are the training bodies across India, they all have to think in terms of inclusive education and what has been stated in a new education policy and work towards it.
Yeah.
Then only things will happen. Yeah.
Yes. Do we have enough RCI affiliated teacher training courses to accommodate neurodiversity, not physical disability? I'm talking about maybe autism, maybe dyslexia, or other specific learning difficulties. In our schools, do we have enough courses, teacher training
No,
courses?
not at all. Not at all. And like I have opened my own organization, the Serendip in Madhya Pradesh, Jabalpur.
Okay.
And I'm not able to, go ahead with the services. So far, advocacy, awareness programs, workshops are going on. But I'm not able to go ahead with the services because I do not have the trained people who know autism. At present, whatever is happening in the city of Jabalpur, that I'm being very specific here, but then same is the status in other cities and other states also, that we don't have a single course on autism in Jabalpur, not a single course. And we do have a course on mental retardation. And I think for speech and hearing impairment also, there are a couple of places which are running the courses, but then nothing for autism. And I'm not aware of even cerebral palsy. I'm just talking about a few disabilities. We have 21 disabilities in the RPWD Act. So it's a huge thing.
Yeah, the scenario is same here in Ahmedabad.
Okay. So, see, the other day, I think I was hearing Dr. Mukhopadhyay in one of the webinars. She was talking about that we don't have enough people who can train. My take is like this, that we associate these training programs to the universities. And each university has the Department of Psychology, Department of Education, and language, and so many others. We can have people from the medical colleges. We can have, the faculties coming into from any other city also. They can travel and do it. On nowadays, online things can happen also, the seminars, etc. So it is possible. It is time that we multiply, we replicate whatever is happening in the bigger cities. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Very good suggestion, I must say.
Thank you.
And now, Anjali, as a mother and as a professional in a leadership role, what are your experiences about the so-called certified human resource in schools? Do you think the available training and certification programs in India, the right to education of every child, irrespective of their physical and intellectual conditions, can be ensured?
Uh, Manobina, we have noticed when we employ special educators, especially freshly passed out, they have very little knowledge about, if I talk about Asperger, I mean autism spectrum disorder and other neurological disorders as well. As their knowledge is broad based and topic of autism spectrum disorder is usually covered in a very few chapters or in just one module, which is not sufficient. It is also observed that special educators can teach only up to primary level. So if some children require special education in middle school or in high school, there are few educators who can cater to their needs. Right, Manobina?
Yeah, I can understand your views since both of us are working together. So I can understand your views completely, Anjali. Kavita ji, do you think the licensed body of rehabilitation is able to take care of the quality control of its affiliated training institutes properly? Kavita ji?
Sorry, I was muted. Okay. Again, I said I don't think so. The whoever the institute or organization given the authority to run these courses, etc., uh, they have been given licenses to run the courses. But what I feel is that the quality of training has been compromised in many of the places also, because I was also a faculty in a couple of the places. I wouldn't take the name right now, but then uh, when I was teaching them, I was after teaching, I was asked to write a paper, give them homework, etc. And if I'm asking them a question which needed application of the learning, I was asked, Kavita, please give them direct questions. So, what are we doing? What are we really doing? We are just testing the memory. This is a training program. Training requires the application of knowledge. So, this is in couple of the places, and we have to really see it carefully. RCI has to do monitoring in different ways. They have to find out, because they are running the courses. They are not only the standardizing body, they are running the courses. So they have to have very strict monitoring strategies. They have to derive, I don't know how, we can think about it, but then if we have good professionals coming out, I'm sure we can achieve whatever objective we want to, whether it is inclusion or just a decent life for the person with disability. So it's a hard work, and I think there is some accountability which is needed from the end of the those organizations who have been given the authority to run these courses. they should also think about it.
Yes, actually, I don't know whether I should mention this on this platform or not, but my experience says there are institutes where one can have backdoor entry. Maybe after 10 months of the registration, when the registration gets over, after 10 months of that, one can have backdoor entry and doesn't need to attend a single class to sit for the examinations. And of course, when one is paying the fees, one will surely pass and eventually get a license. So this is all of us, I think, at some point experienced this. So, so Kavita ji,
And
are you talking about the new national education policy? And I'm sure that you have gone through the new national education policy very carefully, especially the chapter 6, equitable and inclusive education learning for all. Is there any point in that chapter that you'd like to elaborate on?
um, well, there are many points, many good points also. And as we were discussing earlier, that not in the program, but earlier, I think that this particular policy, it's very exhaustive, it's elaborate, and it requires a national level deliberation uh, by the entire India. I don't know how the platform can be developed, but then I think it is important that the topics should be allotted to different institutes and they should deliberate on that, and then the discussions can happen. Then we can have a solution to go ahead with. I'm only talking about the school education. It is a beautiful policy. It does talk about the disabilities also, the inclusion part of it, and how it should be done. What are the things that one can do? But I'm talking about the entire policy has to be discussed. It's we cannot do it in this program right now, but it's a beautiful, beautiful policy. It's done differently, and the first two segments where they are talking about the foundational course and the middle level, it is basically dealing with only the playful activities, activity oriented programs, etc. There is no exam, etc., and that can give rise to understanding what can be done with one individual, what is one individual good at, and then we can work towards it in the next level. So we have to see the first two levels are very, very important, and I would say we have to really work hard towards it. And what I have also understood, that the timeline given for the NEP to be implemented fully is 2040. From 2020 to 2040, each year has been given some objective to be achieved. So we have to see that also, that how we can achieve it earlier than that, right? How we
Yeah,
can achieve earlier than that, because 20 years is a long time.
time.
Long time. So that part is a question mark for me. I have to yet read that part again, and maybe we can have another day, another discussion on that. So
Definitely.
that's
So the policy is aiming to make education more inclusive, no doubt about it.
yes,
But is the system ready to adapt or implement that policy yet? It's surely not, because that is why this 20 years timeline is given.
correct.
What do you
Yeah,
think?
that is true. That is why. But then I think the process can be done faster, according to me. It's just that we have to be ready to work towards
Exactly.
it. We have to understand ourselves. We have to give time to it.
Exactly.
And that too, not only the policy making people, the people who are working at the ground level, those should be
Exactly.
involved as well, right?
Exactly.
Then,
Exactly.
because ultimately they have to work on the education. They have to give the training and the teaching, learning, everything has to happen because of them. So they
Yeah.
should be there and should be involved. Right.
And don't you think that there is a sense of complacency at the higher levels regarding the existing policies and their implementations? But professionals like us who work at the grassroots level by running a school or a support service for children and young people with additional needs generally find that there is a huge gap between what is there in theory and what practically is happening. That's what you are also talking about.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
how do you think this gap between the theories and the practicalities can be shortened? As you said, that there should be discussion between
Yes.
the higher ups with the workers at the grassroots level. Anything else?
Exactly. You said
Anything?
it, Anjali. I
Yeah.
would say that is the right way of doing it. And yes, there is complacency which can be seen, but then I don't know, we have to accept it in a different way. And we can always question, we should be given the right to question, why this or how this. Okay, how one can do it. So if those questions are answered by those who have developed it, nothing like it, isn't it? If they give us the some thoughts which can be converted into action, we can certainly work towards it. But then um, to me right now it's looking beautiful on the paper. It's just that we have to work hard to make it happen.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And Kavita ji, I just wanted to know more about your project Prayas and the vocational trainings that you have been imparting for quite a long time.
Okay. So Prayas Daksh, actually Project Prayas was the name given to um, this particular project on technology by SAP India, because they were the funding body. But the products of the Project Prayas were several. The one which I created and conceptualized is Dutch, and that is available, as I said earlier, it is available on a free platform, open educational resource. It is called www.techedforautism.com. Though it is created for autism, it can be used for other disabilities also. So, uh, as I said, it is a free open educational resource. It is an amalgamation of technology, modalities of autism, and special educational techniques, where we are actually teaching the concepts of learning along with the computer skills with the help of 300 editable templates. And these can also be created. I mean, the entire thing can be done through the IEP also. Say, for example, you have an individual with autism coming to you who is of just 10-year-old and who doesn't know the addition of 3 digits. You can reduce the 3 digits into two, or you can select those lessons from the folder and put them in the folder for a particular child and create the IEP and work towards it. Then you increase the degree of difficulty, go to the next level, and continue working. You can constantly save it as, and see the progress of the child. So it's a very simple thing, customizable, editable, and it is available free for the entire world. Right
Okay.
now, we have around 4,000 registered members in it.
Yeah, there is a comment in the comment section. My one of my collaborators, Sri Priya from London, wants us to share the website. So maybe
Sure.
we will share it with her later on.
Yeah, we'll do
Oh,
that.
okay, okay. Uh, so thanks very much. Thank you very much, Kavita ji. I will come back to you once again, but before we conclude today's session, Anjali, do you have any suggestions for parents or schools or the professionals?
Yes, of course, Manobina. See, there are many children like my son who can complete their education and do degree or diploma courses, not just from open universities, but from reputed universities also. So, my suggestion is that schools and universities should have consultants on the panel who are expert in this field, and there should be someone to guide the educators for maximizing the potential of the students so that they can complete their education from mainstream school or universities. Uh, Various specializes courses on autism spectrum disorder and other diversities should be offered not only through regular mode but through platform like Swayam MOOC. It's a massive open online course within our country. This would encourage many in-service special educators and other teachers who are passionate about this cause to join for their professional development and it will greatly benefit our children.
Sure, sure. Thank you very much, Anjali. Thank you very much for your valuable suggestion. Uh, Kavita ji, your concluding advice for the parents, for the schools, for professionals like us, please.
Right. So we've been talking about inclusion. I think Anjali has to mute.
Anjali, could you please?
Okay. So we've been talking about inclusion, and I think inclusion begins from acceptance, right? So acceptance in the family, and uh, if we as parents can do that, nothing like it. But there is a role of those people who do the diagnosis and tell the family that your child is affected by this particular condition, and enable that family, empower that family with the information, and information with respect to the resources, services, products, whatever is available. Then the life is easy and acceptance is faster. So first stage of inclusion is acceptance at home is completed. If it is completed, okay, then we go to the next level where we need good human resources who are empathetic, who are knowledgeable, who can apply their knowledge, and who want these individuals to grow, individuals with disability to grow and excel. So even simple things like, just even if they make a simple knot, that should be seen as an achievement by the human resources. Somewhere small anecdotes also make life simple. And this particular person who is doing it, it's part of the assembly line of a product which I just talked about. So that is our human resources. Then we have to have a system, the entire system, which is in this particular case are the institutes, educational institutes, the heads of the institutes, whether these systems have proper infrastructure, whether they follow different principles of pedagogy. Can they follow principles of universal design of learning? Do they have assistive devices and assistive technologies, etc.? Then are they ready for the curriculum adaptation? Do they know what is the difference between the adaptation and modification, and accommodation? Can these things be possible? can we work on the equity? What is equity with respect to, the physical equity, emotional or environmental equity? We have to see all those things. And based on the assessment of the individual, we have to provide that. Based on the disability of the individual also, we have to provide that and then work towards it. Then we should also work towards peer tutoring. In one of the places when I had mentioned about it, when we were trying to let Ujjwal go for the higher education, I had suggested for this, but then it did not happen. They said that if we give importance to one, the other person would not like it, or even his work will be affected, the peers' work, the buddies' work. But the point is, along with that, if we can create rewards and reinforcers in different ways in the system, peer tutoring can also happen, because both the people learn, the peer will run, both of them will learn, right? And inclusion will be easier. So we have to do, if we can do all these things, nothing like it, we can certainly get inclusion happen for all the disabilities, not only a few. This is my take for inclusion.
Thank you very much, Kavita ji. It's very motivating for all of us. Thank you once again for your time and support. And I really enjoyed today's session. Thank you very much to my dear colleague Anjali. It was really an enriching experience for me, and I'm sure all our viewers as well. And since all three of us are working with neurodivergent children and young people, and trying our best in our own little ways to make inclusion a reality, it was a good collaboration, I must say. And we will keep collaborating and sharing views. Thanks very much once again for joining me. Let's Talk Inclusion.
Thank you, Manobina, for offering this wonderful platform to express our thoughts. And thank you, Kavita, for your valuable insights.
Thank you, both of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And to our viewers, please keep an eye on our Facebook page for the announcement of the episode 15 of Let's Talk Inclusion. It's not next Friday, maybe next to next Friday. So see you there. Till then, take care and bye-bye. Thank you once again, Kavita ji and Anjali. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you.